Oh boy, I can tell it's going to be a great day already. Went live when I didn't think I was live, so I get to go back and remove all of that. But hey, my name is Misha Fayant. I'm here because I got really sick. I got a lot better, and I'm just sharing with everyone what I did to get better after the medical system failed me, keto and the medical medium, and all of that stuff I did to try and help my health. And in the end, I found one simple system that's helping me. But why was I sick? That's the big thing for me. Why are we getting sick and what's going on? So, at the root of most of our disorders and disease today, anyway, the ones that are lifestyle related, we're having just technical issues, you guys. So let me get this live going back on TikTok again. Um, is this thing called insulin resistance, and it really is at the root of almost every disease and disorder that we have today. Um, According to metabolic scientists and people in the know out there, this thing is causing almost every disease and disorder that we have. And they're saying this was an old number. They used to say 88% of us were metabolically unhealthy. Now they're saying that 93% of us, even higher than 93%, are metabolically unhealthy. That means that 93% of us are likely impacted by this in some way, shape, or form. And that's huge because when we talk about things like cardiovascular disease, which is one of the things that I suffered with, it is taking 50,000 lives a year, or I mean a day. And I need to drink my Unimate. I had a rough night last night, so I'm just not quite on top of it. But anyway, cardiovascular diseases are the largest cause of deaths worldwide. And when we look at that and we tie it in, so I'm the connect the dots person, right? So what I really do is show you the dots that I connected after I got sick and got better and figured out why I was getting better. So here we go. If we can agree that cardiovascular diseases are one of the leading causes of deaths worldwide, and most cardiovascular docs are going to say that 80% of cardiovascular diseases are caused by hypertension or high blood pressure. And then we back it up another step and say that they also say that 95% of cardio or of high blood pressure is caused by insulin resistance. Only 5% are caused by genetic defects or whatever. The rest is caused by this too much insulin in our blood. So when we connect all of those dots, like I feel like I'm lucky to be alive today because I had a blood pressure of 180 over 150. Anybody else that's on here that suffers with high blood pressure, because it was devastating to me. And people who don't have an extremely high blood pressure may not understand what that feeling is like. And I literally had doctors tell me they weren't, I mean, they just didn't know how I was upright or even alive still because my blood pressure was so out of control. And I was on dual therapy for my blood pressure, hydrochlorothiazide and lisinopril, and they still couldn't get it under control. And this last January, I had a health exam and my blood pressure was normal, 120 over 70. And I'd been off medications for 19 months. And the only thing I was doing were these two real food products that I'm going to talk about at some point today, a tea I drink in the morning and a pre-meal drink that I drink. And what they're doing is bridging the gap between where our food is now and where we need our health to be. Because the truth is that our food has been modified and it makes it so that we cannot grasp our bodies are not able to recognize what's going on when we eat the food that we eat. And one of the problems is that it causes this spike in glucose that overworks the pancreas. So let me go back and connect those dots a little better. When we have a spike in glucose, the body has to produce insulin, and the insulin takes and delivers that glucose as energy to every tissue in the body. Now, when we're having that insulin being produced, it's coming from the pancreas. So anytime anything in the body is being produced at a high rate, it starts to cause disease and disorder because there's an imbalance, right? So what we want to do is slow down that need for insulin and allow the body to act more normally. I just did some videos on PCOS last night. Um, and one of the ways that insulin resistance is connected to the PCOS is when there's high levels of insulin in the body, it produces high levels. It spurns the ovaries to produce more testosterone, because yes, women's ovaries produce testosterone. When that testosterone is high, it shuts down the process of the body being able to produce one egg that's viable to be ovulated, so that person can then have a child. And so that whole process gets disrupted. And then along with that high testosterone comes more and coarser facial hair and a receding hairline and energy level changes and all of this stuff. And there's through a number of other actions, it causes weight gain and fatigue. So insulin resistance definitely is the root cause of PCOS. Is there a genetic disposition to having PCOS? Yes, but insulin resistance is the root cause that sets that on fire, right? So that's what I'm here to talk about. So a couple of other things that happen with insulin resistance are these. So when we look at what other things could be happening, well, there's sarcopenia, fatty liver, dementia. Alzheimer's is now being called type 3 diabetes. Long-term hypertension or long-term hyperinsulinemia is Alzheimer's. And what if, I don't know, I don't have any stories where somebody came out with full-blown Alzheimer's and then was able to reverse that. I would love, love, love for somebody's family who has Alzheimer's, allow them to try the system and see how it helps, because my memory was fading. I was having problems, and that's all returned since I started on the system. So heart disease, stroke, PCOS, high blood pressure, migraine, headaches, obesity, type 2 diabetes, osteoarthritis, and yes, guys, erectile dysfunction can all be linked to insulin resistance. And so when I talk about, and there's even more, there's another, it's linked to Parkinson's and autism and bone wasting, where am I? And a number of types of cancer. And now, am I going to tell you that it causes all of these things? No. Does it exacerbate those things? Yes. So some things it's causing, some things it's just exacerbating. Like I had a lady who had psoriasis, and she had horrible psoriatic flares. And yet when she started on the system, within a few months, her psoriatic flares calmed down and eventually went away. And the last time I talked to her, she wasn't having them anymore. And all she did was add these 2 real food products. So if she changed her diet, would she likely have psoriatic flares again? Probably so. But is it well maintained? Is she not suffering with psoriatic flares now? Absolutely. So all she did was get her insulin resistance under control. A little dehydrated. So Dr. Benjamin Bigman wrote this book called Why We Get Sick. And I really need to get links to that in my profile for you guys. And I'm going to be working on that this week. But he's one of the top metabolic scientists in the world. And now these are some of the 5 things that he talks about in the absence of blood work that you can tell if you have hyperinsulinemia or insulin resistance. So number 1 is hypertension. That's the one that I was plagued with, right? But then there's also skin tags on your neck, your eyes, under your arms, in your groin. Somebody said last week that they were caused by friction. They're not. That's a misnomer, you guys. Hyperkeratinocyte production is caused by hyperinsulinemia. So take care of the insulin and the skin tags go away. I had them under my arms, in my groin. They were starting in on my neck in areas that don't get any friction, and they're all gone. Not one skin tag on me now. And that's just crazy to me, that something that I thought was just a grandma thing is now gone. And then acanthosis nigricans, or that skin coloring around your elbows, knees, neck, that and you'll see it on people. It just is hard for me to just walk away when I see people, walk up and see people with these dark skin patches. I had them on my elbows, and it was embarrassing. I felt like I wasn't clean. I kept washing. I used like shea butter and coconut oil and all the stuff on my elbows to try and get them to soften up and that color to change. And I was scrubbing them all day and night. They were on my knees. And I remember joking, like, I'm Native American, I shouldn't be ashy. Well, that's diabetes, pre-diabetes. That's also insulin resistance. Take the insulin resistance out of the equation and that goes away. So my elbows were looking worse than that one that I showed you, and my elbows now have no skin discoloration and no rough patches at all because my insulin is under control. So now that I know, there's a few things that I check on myself all the time because I don't have a strict diet. So I just check, or do my elbows start having discoloration? Do I have any of these symptoms starting to come back? Then I better, tighten up my ship and start doing things a little differently, which I'm constantly doing. But two of the other things are PCOS and erectile dysfunction. We talked about those just a minute ago, but I know Jason was on here. I don't know if he's still on here. He was suffering with not PCOS, but a number of these things: hypertension, skin tags, acanthosis nigricans, and the low testosterone. And that's all gotten better for him. He's also lost over 140 pounds in 7 months on the Feel Great system. And his life is just completely different from what it was. And I'm going to be showing you guys pictures of him in a minute. But there's a few other indicators that I want to talk about. So if you don't have any of those 5, there's some other things that you can look at to tell if this could be you. And look, what we're talking about is not medication. We're talking about just 2 real food products that are putting back what's been stripped out of your diet. So there's no risk, right? So if you have that bulging belly where the rest of your body seems to look okay, but whether you're man, woman, 20 years old or 50 years old, but you all of a sudden have this bulging belly, that's likely insulin resistant. High triglycerides of over 150 milligrams per deciliter, that's a good key that you could be insulin resistant. And low HDL, that's a good key. So while I'm there, I really need to do that video again today. I've been saying I'm going to, and then I get distracted. Do I even have a pen to write with? So to tell if you're insulin resistant, one of the things you can do is take your triglycerides and divide them by your HDL. Okay, so that number should be about 1.5. When it starts to get over 2, hey, Jason, then you should be looking at the fact that you're likely insulin resistant. Now, if you retain water easily, you have swollen feet, you have edema, you have swelling in any of your extremities, that's a key that you could be insulin resistant. If you're constantly hungry, especially after eating, or if your energy level changes after you eat, or you get cold after you eat, you get chills and you just want to go wrap up in a blanket and lay down because all of a sudden you feel like you just ate, but you're more tired now than ever. And people said, oh, it's just your body trying to digest your food. Well, no, it's not. It's this thing where your blood sugar drops after eating a high glycemic meal because your insulin is so high that it's forcing your blood sugar down by delivering that. Now you get this this reactive hypoglycemia. You're cold, you have shivers, you're tired, you just want to go lay down. And that's not normal. That's not normal. I don't get the shivers. I don't get cold after I eat now. I don't get super fatigued after I eat now. I don't have any of that. And I was struggling with that for over 20 years. Anybody else struggle with that? Like you're just hungry even after you eat, your energy. Like I was shocked. I thought maybe it was just me that was having these chills or fatigue after I ate. And then the more people I work with, the more they're kind of coming out and saying, yeah, I suffered with that too. Like I get cold. And everybody says, I thought it was just me because nobody's addressing this. When you go to your doctor and you say, hey, why do I get so cold after I eat? Do they ever tell you that it's probably hyperinsulinemia and that you could be developing insulin resistance? I never had a doctor tell me that. I never had not one, and not even after I worked in hormone clinics and weight loss clinics, and we had all of the stuff, saliva tests and urine tests and blood tests and all of the stuff done on me to compare as a baseline to see which tests worked better for what. Just as a kind of in-clinic scientific study, I was willing to pay for those tests. And one of those tests was a metabolic test. And you know what my doctor said when the metabolic test came back? She called me in and said, Misha, you have the worst type of metabolism that could come back on this test, and there's literally nothing I could do for you. So when people are saying you're not qualified to be on here and talk about this, bullshit. I'm absolutely qualified to be on here and talk about this because I've been around the block, and even my doctors weren't able to help me, and then I found help, and I reversed almost everything that my doctor said I would never be able to reverse and that I would always have to live with. The constant fatigue, the chronic pain, the constant migraine headaches, and that were turning into migraine headaches, that that hunger, sleep apnea, my eyesight failing, my hair falling out, all of that stuff has been reversed, or is much better. And even my teeth, I had severely bleeding teeth and gums, and I went in for dental visits and all of this stuff. And I was told that I just needed to clean better. But yet I don't change anything different now. And I've been on the system, and my periodontitis is gone. That's also a symptom of insulin resistance. So you guys, the bottom line is, if you're suffering with any of these things, know that it's likely insulin resistance. Does it require these medications that are, hey Jason, that are killing off your liver, your kidneys, and damaging your heart and all of that stuff? No. No, it doesn't require that. It's just two real food products. And why it's working is because and I'm going to say it over and over and over again, they're just bridging the gap between where we are now with the modern food environment and with the foods that we're eating and where we need to be. Because the modern food environment, can we all agree that our food has been modified, that our food has been changed? Not just the boxed food, by the way, but our raw organic food has been changed. So if you know that our food is not what it's supposed to be, just type a yes in the comments. Just say, hey, something. But that's at the root of most of our disease and disorder today, is our food source. It's not what it's meant to be. It's been so wildly changed that our bodies don't understand what it is. They don't understand how to deal with it, and we end up with all of this disease and illness. So thank you, Marilyn. So here's the thing. I'm going to show you. I'm skipping past all the results pictures over on these other platforms, guys. I'm live on a couple of different platforms. But here's what we're looking at. All right. When we talk about diet, and you guys, I'm reading a book right now about calories and how they got the whole thing about calories wrong, how calories in, calories out. Like, yes, there's energy in, there's energy out, but measuring calories and all of that stuff is flawed. I haven't read the book yet, written by a doctor. I will report back when Dr. Yao, by the way. And he also talks about gene eating and that we all have different needs for food. But I'll let you guys know when I've done reading that book. Anyway, what we're told primarily for most of us is if we do calorie counting, meal replacements, keto, intermittent fasting, if we go to weight loss clinics, do boxed meals, meal plans, how many of you guys remember all the, I don't know, maybe it's just not in my field of view anymore, but Weight Watchers and all those diet plans, those were huge for a while. All right, so all of that is great. You may get success for a while, but it all relies on willpower. And willpower, look, we already have stressful lives. We cannot keep up with this game. So, by the time we get done with work and we come home and our family's needing us, or even on the way home, our family's like, hey, I need this, I need that. We got to go here, we got to go there. And you're tired and you're like, there's no way I can get home and cook dinner. And I'm just going to stop and grab something to eat. And this is what that looks like, right? So we're grabbing something, and how many times do we grab something like this and be like, just today? It's just going to be today because I'm so tired and I just can't do this anymore. And then just today ends up being, okay, just twice this week. And then maybe just 3 times this week. And okay, one more time, but next week I'm not going to do this. And you guys, it's not your fault. It's the flawed world we're living in, but this is the food that's available to us. And it's so modified and manufactured. But look, even our raw organic foods, if you look at the carrots on the top left, that's what a carrot should look like. And what we have now are these plump orange things on the bottom. That's not what our food source was supposed to look like. Watermelon in the center used to be much more fibrous and had seeds and all of that in it. And I remember as a kid, 50 something years ago, everybody saying, oh, I don't want to deal with the seeds, and I love watermelon, but I don't want to have to deal with all this stuff. And, you're kind of having to fight through to get to that good stuff in the middle. And that was there for a reason, because it slowed you down from eating that glucose in high form that was going to change or that carbohydrate that was going to change into glucose in your body. So now what we have is what I call sugar water in a shell. And then you look at corn, it's the same way. You guys, you can go look and see peaches used to be about the size of a golf ball or less, and now they're huge. They're the size of your fist. Well, how does that happen? They pump it full of carbohydrates and starches in some cases and whatnot. And then there's the grains that have all of this outside layer that we're stripping off to get to that inside layer. Sorry that you guys can't see it so well over here. But all of that, even in our raw organic food, is what's wrong. Now, people will say, you know what, some people do eat raw organic food and it works for them. Great, hallelujah, amen, whatever works for you. But most of us, that doesn't work. Most of us, that's just not happening for us. So we need a little help, right? So I'm going to go over the system here in a second that's helped me reverse my hypertension, my hyperlipidemia, my diabetes, my sleep apnea, all of that. But a couple of tips that you guys can have that I implement along with the system are these. I get in fiber first every time I eat, before I eat, and that's this little packet right here. And that is what helps me mediate all the carbs and the fat that I'm about to eat. Then I'm probably going to switch these around because it really should be prioritize protein and then fill up with fat and then control your carbs. Watch the clock, which is some time-based eating. So it's 11:30 in the morning. I had my last meal last night about 8 o'clock. So I'm ending my 16-hour fast, but I'm probably going to go a little bit longer than that today. I probably won't eat until 2 or so. The crazy thing is that I won't be hungry because I am drinking this tea right now that shuts down my hunger and gives me energy and does a lot of other things. But watch the clock. I'm going to talk about that fasting bit in a second. If you guys have questions about how I fast and what it is, it's not unhealthy. We've been doing it for thousands of years. You know, not eating for 16 hours is not going to set off your cortisol and all of that stuff unless you have very specific disorders. So the other thing is move your body. You guys, we don't get up and move enough. We're in a society that we're highly stressed and we have all these demands, but we're not moving. We're sitting at desks. We're not, you know, that's why they have the stand-up desks and whatnot, because even that little micro movement of being able to stand up stresses your body enough to have some movement. And I'm not talking about going and doing crazy cardio. I'm not saying go hop on the treadmill for an hour or even a half an hour. I'm just saying move. Get up and move. Take a walk in the morning. Go out and get some early morning sunshine. Move after you eat. Take a walk. Instead of going and sitting down, get up and you know, walk around for a little bit. Do something. Dance if you like to dance. Go swimming if you like to swim. I love doing Qigong now. I've learned that. And so I do that a lot now, almost daily. And to just move your body, that's the big thing. So what's happening with us before I hop into the system and why the system is working. Remember, I've been talking about how glucose gets spiked. That's the light blue line. When it drives up, then the dark blue line is your insulin, and the insulin has to go high to take care of that glucose, because that's what's delivering that glucose into your system is energy to every tissue in the system, so in the body. So when we spike the insulin high and we do it repeatedly, the insulin finally says, okay, I'm just going to stay high because you're just going to spike it again. And so I'm just going to stay up here. So the pancreas is now churning out insulin, trying to keep that level high to protect you from all the sugar that you're eating or all the foods that are turning into sugar too quickly. What the system does is it starts to what I call mediate that. So it slows down the delivery of those sugars and those fats into your system so you don't ever have that high load of insulin. Good morning, everybody. So now with the insulin levels down, there's a whole number of things that can happen. And when your hormones are leveling out, things like PCOS can just kind of like go away, because when your body is producing too much of one hormone, it's not producing enough of the others, or it starts to throw everything out of whack. And we're going to go over all of that. But I hope that makes sense to everybody. Does that make sense why we're doing the system and why this is the one thing that worked for me when everything else, including metformin and stuff, did not? By the way, this is my personal, can we agree to this? Not a doctor, not a dietitian, this is my personal view. I hate those medications, those GLP-1 agonists, because for all the people who are saying, oh, it's, you know, helping you be more insulin sensitive, it's also driving your body to produce more insulin. And that's why pancreatitis is on the list of the contraindications and the adverse reactions of that medication. Like, okay, so my pancreas is already under fire, and now we're going to make it produce more insulin so that I can deal with this problem. And then, you know, people will say, oh, it's whatever they're going to say. But Look, there's been studies, it's on the NIH's website, that some of those drugs can actually increase the amount of fat cells that you have in your body. So when you come off of those drugs, now most people rebound and they actually gain even more weight because now their body has more fat cells than it had before, more storage houses. So I'm not a big effect of the diarrhea side effect. And you guys, this is not pretty. So if you don't want to hear something not horribly graphic, but look, I took metformin one time. I was at my daughter's house visiting. So, she doesn't have a guest room. So I was sleeping on the couch and I was feeling really sick. And in the middle of the night, and that was before I was on the system, obviously, right? So I could hardly move. I was in pain. I had a hard time even getting up off the couch because I was in so much pain. Anyway, in the middle of the night, I just was like, oh my gosh, I'm sick. And before I could make it to the bathroom, it was like the most volatile projectile vomiting that I think I've seen in my at that point, 58 years, 57 years. And so then I spent the next 2 hours cleaning up her hallway, her kitchen, and her bathroom because of what happened from the metformin. So I finally just told my doctor, I'm not doing this medication. It's whatever it's doing, it's not good. It makes me feel more sick. So yeah, I get it. That diarrhea, the vomiting, the headaches, the body aches, all the stuff that come with some of those medications. Why? Why? If you know that you can do two real food products, it has a 90-day money back guarantee, which is what I'm here to share with you, then why wouldn't you do that instead of all of those chemical things that harm you? And look, I've had people tell me, well, yeah, I just want to lose weight, so I'm going to go get the Trulicity, Ozempic, semaglutide, whatever, because, I just want to lose weight. And I'm like, but you're going to kill off your kidneys or your liver or your heart or whatever. And they're like, yeah, because people don't believe that it's going to happen to them. So they just are like, well, I just want to lose the weight. I want the easy way out. So can we agree here, you guys? I am not looking for the people who are looking for the easy way out. Because if you're willing to damage your health to lose some weight, that's go ahead and go on. I wish you wouldn't, but that's the way it is. And this, by the way, is not a weight loss product. It's a product that helps you get healthy from the inside out, and the weight loss is a side effect. So what I'm looking for are people who are tired of being sick, people who want a real solution for their health that's not damaging their body but supporting it, and that they understand that it could take a minute for this to happen because we're doing this naturally. For most people, they're going to see some results in 30 days, but we recommend that you do it for 90 days so that you get the full effect to see what can happen. You have a 90-day money back guarantee. It's two real food products. Why not? That's where I was. Like everything else failed me. Everything else was making me feel sick or feel worse. So why not? But look, here we are. So this is what's happening. Remember when I was talking about, do you feel cold or tired after you eat? So you have this glucose spike, and remember the insulin's got to come out to take care of that. Now you have all this high load of insulin, and it's driving that glucose level down, and you have this hypoglycemia, this reactive hypoglycemia. This is why you're cold and tired and all of that. By the way, when that high insulin is out, it's blocking the breakdown of fat. It's blocking the fat burning. It's stimulating fat storage. It's not a fat storing hormone, but it's stimulating that process in the body. So that's what's happening when we have all this high insulin. Now, I know, you should get on with it. You guys, I love the science part, and I know it's hard for some people, but what we're really doing is this time-based eating with these two products. So Unimate and Balance, a tea in the morning and a pre-meal drink before you eat. But this is why we're doing it, and I promise them we're going to start talking about the products. But look, if you have dinner about 5 to 7 p.m. and you precede that with the Balance, so that's helping mediate the fats and the sugars, and we're going to show that in a minute. Then about 8 p.m. your fasting window will start because your gut's starting to empty. Your blood sugar starts to normalize, but then look at that. It's at least 8 hours before your insulin levels drop. This is why I say eating every 2 hours doesn't work, because you're just constantly spiking your insulin. We do the fasting overnight for most of us because the insulin levels are dropping while we sleep. I know there's a lot of contention. Some people are like, well, you don't want all that sugar in your body while you're sleeping. Well, this is how we're doing it because this makes it more sustainable for people. So your digestive system will reset around 6 a.m. after the glucagon normalizes. Now, glucagon can't normalize until the insulin levels go down, because insulin is a primary hormone. I'm going to go over those two really quick. Insulin is anabolic, it wants things to grow. Glucagon is catabolic, it wants to eat things up. So in the hierarchy in your body, insulin takes precedence. So if insulin is out, glucagon can't do its job. Okay, so this is why it's preventing fat burning, because glucagon is the one that keys off that whole process of fat burning and reducing your body from all these other cells that need to go. But it can't come out and play until insulin is down, because insulin's like a bully on the playground when it's out. I hope that makes sense. That's just the nuts and bolts of it, you guys. I'm not trying to get all sciencey on you guys. But so what happens with us is then we wake up in the morning and we have the Unimate. That, by the way, does not break your fat fast. It supports it. It helps with fat burning. It helps you body naturally with this HGH production. It helps put out ketones in the body when you're in that fasted state, because it's supporting all of that. It's not a ketone product. It's a natural food product. And then it ramps up fat burning. And then about noon, and it's about noon now, when you start to get hungry, you can have your first meal preceded by your balance. Now, if you're not able to make it to noon for the first day, or for some day, any day during between, because I've had that happen, I just have a balance before I eat, anytime I eat, and say maybe I've only made it 12 or 13 hours fasting. I'll just have my balance, and then I'll just be careful about what I'm eating the rest of the day and not be snacking and all of that, and it works. Like, do you want to do that every day? No, the best is to do 16-8 fasting. So 16-8 means fast for 16 hours, eat during an 8-hour window, use this fiber and pre-meal drink before you eat every time you eat. I don't care if I'm having a handful of chips, I'll have balance beforehand if I have that moment of weakness where I want to have that. But between the two, they make this whole process really easy and sustainable. It's a no-brainer for most people. So the Unimate, well, let's show you this. So this is what it's going to look like. Your day is going to be like. So you're going to have that Unimate in the morning. It's helping you with the fat burning. Then you're going to have your balance before your first meal around noon. And if you have breakthrough hunger, you can have an extra Unimate in the afternoon to give you another boost of energy, mental clarity, and keep you in that fat burning mode, but also it shuts down your hunger. Then around 6 hours later, 4 to 8 hours later, you're going to have your next meal, and you're just going to proceed that with the balance. And then we start the whole day over again and go 16 hours in that. But that's just like a timeline of what the day looks like. Now, if you have a day where you're hungry, or you just have family around and maybe you're having a big breakfast with the family, like I said, great, just have an extra balance, have it before that meal, wait the 4 to 6 hours, have your next meal, wait 4 to 6 hours, have your next meal. It's simple, it's sustainable, it's flexible, and that's all you really have to do. Now I'm going to start talking about the product. I know you guys have been waiting for so long. What is this? So one of the things that I love with this whole system is the company's commitment to giving you clean and healthy products. These products are, first, they're handpicked, so it's sustainably and ethically harvested, no machine harvesting. It's harvested, handpicked by farmers who own their own farms. So they know exactly when we want things picked and what's too ripe and what's not ripe enough. You guys don't understand that when they machine harvest, for most of the products that you get out there, they're machine harvested. You have no idea. Were they overripe? Are they underripe? Are you even getting the efficacy out of that plant that you needed? Botanicals all have that issue. You guys don't know. One of the other things, and I just learned this, that our company actually not only batch produces, but they batch produce the product before it's combined with anything else. So they know that that plant is what they're saying. And I didn't know this. I should have known this, right? But you can buy something and there's botanically, there's things that are very similar to what's on the package. And yeah. And so that, if you might not be getting the actual plant you think you're buying because they're not tested and they're not regulated. So one of the things the company does is it tests every component before it's all combined, so that we know that we're getting exactly what we need to get to you and that it has the efficacy that we're telling you it has. So there's a question over here, and it says, have I noticed any changes to my physical appearance or my hair, skin, and weight? Let's go back a few slides, you guys. bear with me. I'll show you what's happened to me since I've started and some other people as well. But yeah, my skin has gotten better. It's gotten firmer. I've lost 50 pounds. My hair's growing in thicker. My eyesight's better. I was in 3.0 diopter glasses beforehand, and now these are 1.5. So I've reversed almost 10 years of damage. Do I expect it to go beyond 1.5? Hey, I would love that, but I'm good. If my eyesight is the same as it was when I was 43, 45, I'm really good with that. So the picture in the blue was me in 2021, just before I started the system. I had diabetes, I had hypertension, hyperlipidemia, sleep apnea, heartburn, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, arthritis, leg cramps, skin takes, skin discoloration, brain fog, depression. I had mental health issues, anxiety. All of that has gotten better. In 6 months, I ended up losing 50 pounds. That's the picture of me on the right. So that was the picture in the blue is April of 2021. And the picture on the right was right around October of 2021. And in there, I'd had a hernia surgery. So, you know, surgery slows all that down. So you can definitely tell the difference. And it's continued to change. So for me, and I'm going to show you, I'm just going to go quick through a couple of other people. Because this is not just me. When I talk about edema and swelling, the picture on the top is my feet in 2021. And that would happen within about an hour of me being up. I couldn't be up and sit at a table or anything for too long because my feet would be so swollen and painful. Plane rides, car rides were almost it was just difficult to do. The picture on the bottom was a year later after being on a plane and in airports all day. I came home, pulled my socks off, and my feet were not swollen in the least. And I was shocked. I'm like, wait a minute, because I was wearing diabetic foot socks and a size bigger on my shoes and all of that in the top picture. But that all happened, and all I did was these two real food products. This is my guy, Jason, and he's lost over 140 pounds, had many of the same disorders and diseases that I had, and almost all of his have been reversed as well. Plus, he was losing his eyesight at a more rapid rate than I was mine. He was over 400 pounds when he started. He's closing in on 300 pounds now, hopes to be 200 pounds by the end of this year. And hey, I know that guy too. I still need a new picture of that guy, Jason, because I want you to notice, like in this picture here, this was a group picture. He was with people and he did not look happy. Although he's the sweetest man you ever want to know, he didn't look happy. He was in pain. He was, you know, his life just didn't feel like it was what it was supposed to be for him. And now, I think, what were you, 80 pounds down in this, 80, 90 pounds down in this picture? And now he's able to move. He's able to walk his dog. He's able to go do things and feel like his life has some worth and it's not just all over. And so now he's smiling, and I see him smile more often now than ever. When he started, you just never saw him smile. And that was kind of true of me too. When you're that heavy and in pain, you smile because you need to. Was 125 pounds down. This is Cindy. She's now lost 90 pounds. This picture was at about 80 pounds. She didn't have high A1C or any of that. She had what was called pre-diabetic A1C, but she had the weight and hypertension and hyperlipidemia and inflammation, brain fog, neuropathy. All of that's reversed, and she just continues to take weight off. She looks amazing now. This is Karen, and Karen did have high A1C. By the way, Jason's A1C was 13.3, and he took it down to 6.1. Karen's was at 11.5. She took hers down to 6.5. Mine was at 7.4. It's now 5.3. Karen's lost 25 pounds and many inches. When I say it's not a weight loss system, yeah, there are some people like Jason and Cindy who lose a lot of weight because that's what their body needs to address. There are other people who don't have a lot of weight, like Karen's only lost 25, but you see the big difference between her. But for her, it was more about getting control of the diabetes. So there's that. And then when we look at Steph, when people met Steph before, they would have never thought that she was overweight. She's lost, I think I have 30 pounds on this, but she now says she's lost 40 pounds. She went from a size 14 to a size 6. She has 4-pack abs without ever doing sit-ups. She's gotten rid of her heartburn, her depression, her ADHD is well managed. This is not just for fat people, but Dia was a cancer survivor. She's lost over 50 pounds, improved her gut health, reduced her pain, and gotten her life back. This young man was is type 1 diabetic, has lost 35 pounds. His moods have increased. His insulin, he's reduced or gotten rid of his load of short-acting insulin, and he's reduced the load of his long-acting insulin. And he's doing better at school. When I talked to him and was like, how hard was this? Do you really think other kids can do it? And he was like, Misha, this was the easiest thing I've ever done. And he just feels so much better. And he, even at 11 years old, he's I think 12 or 13 now, is just like, I will never stop doing it, because he remembers how he felt before and how sluggish he was and in pain he was and crabby he was because he was overweight and being picked on and all of that. So type 1 diabetics, yes, this affects you as well. Am I saying you'll never have to take insulin again? Absolutely not. But you can be insulin resistant. Which photos, honey? Do you want to just see all of them, or mine, or which photos are you wanting to see again? Transitioned remarkably well. From being diabetic to non-diabetic? Absolutely, I have. So this is, oh, the smiley face ones? The young man. Oh, I went one too far. But you guys also have a bodybuilder who's done this. She was having, when you cannot tell by somebody's outward appearance whether they're sick or not, always, right? Some people look lean and healthy. I've had so many people be like, well, I lost my uncle, or I did this or that, and they were lean and healthy. And you don't know unless you've been at their doctor's visits and all of that. You don't know what's going on with people. You don't know internally. So I had this bodybuilder, and she was suffering with diabetes and gastrointestinal issues, and her doctors were telling her she needed to get her health under control, or it wasn't going to be long before she had other issues. I don't have her pictures up. I need to throw them back in the slide deck. But in 1 year on the system, you could tell a difference in her bulking phase photos, one after the other. You can see in the one where she's on the system, where she has more definition, and some of that water weight, bloat, and inflammation is gone. Whereas in the first picture, even in her face, you could see the bloat and inflammation. So yeah, it's amazing. And we have now, we have a little one who is 16 months old, and she drinks the tea. She also does the balance before every meal, and she actually likes it. She was 4 years old when I started, 3.5 years old. She will drink the tea. If I have the tea out, she'll drink it, and she'll tell me, she has the cutest little face, and she'll look at me and be like, you don't mind, do you, Nana? Because it's good for me. And how do you argue with that? Nope, it is good for you. So drink it up. I'll go mix up another one. I'd rather you drink that than soda or fruit juice or any of that. Yeah, and that's true, Rose. So it makes a whole difference. You guys, what I want you to think about when you're having insulin resistance, one of the things that happens is you have inflammation in your body and your gut gets unhealthy. So we're going to go down to the gut level today, right? So if your gut is unhealthy and it's producing more of the negative microbiota in there, now you have inflammation, and now you have some of these other things going on. And 70% of your immune cells are held in your gut. And that gut, which is your intestinal system, all of that, right, links into every single organ in your system. So if it's unhealthy, then it starts to leak out this negativity, inflammation into your other organs, and then you start to have all these problems. So when you start on the system and you get rid of the inflammation and you get cells that are getting the nutrients they need, you start to look much better. Like I've been kind of trying. I have so many photos from all the things that I've done, but I found some old photos of me, and I need to get them up because I actually look older 10 years ago than I look now. It's changed so much. And Jason says it changes so much for you, and absolutely it does. You guys, can change everything for me. Like I said, just being able to get up and down to run. Like my grandson was over this weekend. If you guys don't know, my grandson is like the light of my world, and he's here every Friday night to Saturday night. This week he decided he wanted to spend 2 days with Nana, so I devote my time to him when he's here. But I bought him Nerf swords, right? Because he loves sword fights. He always wants me to sword fight. And I have this big island in my kitchen, and I spent hours chasing him around that island with swords, back and forth, and playing games with him. And that's something 2 years ago I couldn't have done. I just couldn't have done it. So having my life back in those ways means everything to me. So, and I just hope that you guys understand that if you're in pain, if you're having all these things, it doesn't have to be that way for you. Kids can do it, adults can do it. We have a guy who was getting ready to be processed for dialysis, and he was able to get control of his kidney function, and was able to cancel that dialysis, and is now, he's been on it just about the same time as me, so about 2 years in. He's now healthier and starting to drop more weight, but he doesn't have those kidney issues anymore. Because it's insane what can happen when you're taking care of your body from the inside out. It just doesn't have to be this life of sickness and pain that we're all living in. And look, he was having the same problem, and Jason had the same thing, and Cindy was having some things, and Karen, but we all had been to doctors. And I'm not bashing doctors, because I feel like there are some really great doctors out there, but doctors are just like the rest of us, and if they don't know, they don't know, and they can't know everything. Let's be real. Okay, so if this has never been put in their field of view, they're not going to look there. And then there's some doctors whose pride gets in the way, and they're like, well, it's just some BS, because I don't want to be called on the carpet that I didn't address this earlier. But we now have cardiologists, endocrinologists, neurologists, and oncologists who all are using, and some general practitioners who are using the system themselves, and they're now recommending it for their patients because they're seeing how well it does. One of the cardiologists who's on the system recommends it to every single patient who walks in his clinic. One of the oncologists was asking his patient if she would set up a table outside of his office and talk to people about this, because he felt it was so impactful that they needed to know. A neurologist has just said that he's been on it, and the impact that he's seen in his health from these two products is better than anything he's seen in his medical career. Hello. Thank you. Everybody, thank you. Ask me questions. I love interaction. This is not just for me to talk. It's like, I hope to be able to answer questions for you guys, because that's why I'm here, right? Yes, I'm selling a product because I've never done this in my life, but because it changed my life, and I feel like saved my life. I worked in medical, wanting to help people, right? I started transitioning into doing life coaching and mindset coaching, and I studied the subconscious, and I did all this stuff, and I just have always wanted to help people. From the time when I was 5 years old, I used to sneak out. We lived on a farm in North Idaho. If so, which one? Let me finish this and then I'll tell you that. But I used to sneak out to the garden and pray and beg God to take me someplace where I could be used to help people. This is not just something that, because this helped me, I want to help people. No, this has been a lifelong, that's my personality. And this whole thing has been great for me, because now I get to help people. I get to see people's stories like Cindy and Jason and so many others. And they're getting healthy and feeling better than they ever thought they would. And then PCOS, young ladies who were told they would never have children, like I was told, and they're now starting families and having normal periods and not having that male pattern balding and all of that stuff. So yeah, that's why I do this. Now, Does it remove inflammation? If so, which one? I need more clarity on that. I don't understand what that means. So this product helps your gut get healthy, right? And through that, you will start to lose inflammation because of that action. So sorry, I was sick all night last night. Not like a virus. I'm just going through some things. But hello, Michelle. So Milo lost 9 pounds in 1 month, and that's amazing. You guys, I didn't lose any weight for 6 weeks on the system, and then the weight just started coming off. And for 2 years, it stayed off, and I haven't struggled. My grandson was over. He wanted Reese's peanut butter cups this weekend, so I had one with him. He's had ice cream. He's whatever. Normally I try to eat healthy, but we have those indulgence foods, and I don't have to say, no, I can't do it because I'm on keto. No, I can't do it because I'm on this strict diet. No, I have this plate of chicken, rice, and broccoli in my fridge, and that's what my meal is today. I get to live a real life. He wanted hamburgers and onion rings, so I went and got all the stuff, made hamburgers and onion rings for him Friday night, which he was so excited about. I've never seen a 6-year-old who loves onion rings so much in my life, but that's what we had. Did I have to worry about it? No, because I just use this. Now, if I'm having something that has excess carbs in it, like maybe we're going out to Italian or something, I'll just have 2 of these instead of 1 to help deal with all the excess carbs in my system. So inflammation, I'm going to go back up to that one because I don't feel like I addressed that as well. But for me, what I can tell you what it did for me, I had that edema and neuropathy in my feet and in my hands, and I had swelling. I couldn't, like, if I sat down in shorts and I looked down at my knees, it just looked like big grapefruits on the end of my knees, which was devastating to me because they've never been like that. But within 3 months on the system, I sat down and I could see my kneecaps again. I could see that definition of where, your knee comes in and there's actually a normal knee there, not just inflammation-filled joint. So it removed my inflammation and it's kept my inflammation at bay, and it's both products. So this one, we're going to dive into that right now because I've been saying I was going to, and I get distracted. You guys, I'm so sorry. By the way, if you were like, tell me about the products, I'll tell you about whatever you need to hear about, because that's for me. That's what I'm here for. Let's see. I want to go back over this real quick. So we hand pick it, but then we take it through a fire roasting process. I'm talking about the tea, right? Talking about the tea. So that fire roasting process helps release those nutrients that we need from the bulk of the plant. Then we extract it and we concentrate it, and then the goal of this is we take it to a lab in Switzerland that then takes it through a process called hyper pure. So that now you have an extract that's highly concentrated and extremely pure, removing environmental toxins and pesticides, which you're not going to get with your bagged teas and whatnot on the market. So no, it's not the same thing. You can have it to help you feel great all day. This just looks so blurry over here, so I'm going to move past this. But you can have it at any time. There's no crashes. It's non-addictive. It suppresses hunger and cravings by using your stored fat for fuel. A couple of the things that I really like in this are these things. Chlorogenic acids. I don't know why this is so blurry, guys. Hold on. Maybe that's a little better. Okay, so it promotes neuroprotective gene expression and has antioxidant effect in the brain. It promotes feelings of well-being, supports healthy blood pressure and glucose levels, and promotes weight loss. That's one component. And there are more components in this tea than the ones I'm going to go over right now. These are just the ones that I love to talk about. The natives who grow and harvest this down in Argentina call it the food of the gods because it can sustain life when they don't have anything else available. Just this one component, by the way, the chlorogenic acids are something that can cross the blood-brain barrier. They're one of the few things that can, and there's 375 times more chlorogenic acids in this tea than there are in any standard yerba mate tea. So, all the people saying just go buy yerba mate, how many cups of yerba mate tea do you have to drink to get these benefits? And at that point, how much, not only the time and the cost of it, which is going to cost you more than this, but how many pesticides and toxins are you getting in your system as well? So now theobromine supports healthy blood pressure and cholesterol levels, and it promotes feelings of calmness, reduce mental fatigue, and improves focus. Almost everyone that I've talked to has noticed that they have that better mood, more energy almost immediately drinking the Unimate. And this helps with the fasting and helps with metabolism as well. So these two really work in tandem. It's not an either or. The Unimate has 3 times of this theobromine in it as any highest quality dark chocolate. And then there's the mate saponins. So you guys have heard about all the reishi teas and the saponins in that are causing all of this great effects for you. Some of those saponins are found in our tea, so they help support healthy triglycerides and the body's ability to burn fat. And they're only found in this plant, these mate saponins. But in those mate saponins are triterpenoids. That's what's in the reishi, the mushroom teas, and whatnot that you're looking for. They are suggested to have human health benefits, including lowering serum cholesterol and providing antioxidant and anti-cancer activity, all in one tea that I drink at least once a day, but most often 2 to 3 times a day. There's some questions over here. So somebody lost 5 pounds in their first week on the system. Yay! Lost. And then in the UK, let me stop for a second on the Unimate because that's basically it for the Unimate. You guys, in the UK, you can get it through the same link as I have. Look, this is offered in over 34 countries worldwide right now. The UK is on our list of places that this can be gotten. The link in my profile here on TikTok, that link works wherever you are in the world. So it's driven by your IP address. It's going to take you there to wherever you are. And then we have manufacturing facilities throughout the world. So you're not waiting for it to come from the US. So for those of you in TikTok land, we're going to go over here. And you guys, I'm going to help you hopefully see this on the other platforms. I'm going to show you my TikTok profile. This is it right here. So how you get it is you're just going to go to this. And you guys, I've been putting my QR code that takes you to this link also at the end of my videos. So any of my most recent videos have that QR code in it. But if you go here and look at this red light, right below it is a link. You click on that link. And that's going to take you to all of the information you need. It's safe. I don't know why it does this with Linktree, but there's my Linktree. So order Feel Great right here. That's what you click on. It's going to show up in the US for me because I'm in the US. If you're in the UK, it's going to show up in the UK. If you're in Ireland, it's going to show up there. If you're in Australia, it's going to show up with the correct site for Australia. If you're in the UAE, it's going to show up there. Okay. So the important part is that it says you're referred by Michelle Fayant up at the top here. That means you have me as a coach. You have access to me every day. If you need questions answered, whatever, you text me. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Then you just click on Buy Now. And then this is what the system looks like. So 30 of the tea, 60 of the pre-meal drink. Lemon ginger is selected. You guys, I know they're doing the lemon ginger because we're short on stock on lemon right now. It's been so popular here in the US. It may look different in your country. If you have lemon available, lemon is actually the most common, but you have the risk of waiting for the product if we're out of stock. Lemon ginger is not out of stock often, so that's where they're starting with. You can also do black, which looks, feels, and tastes more like coffee. And then there's the multi-pack. I'm sorry, I'm getting messages over here. That has the lemon ginger, and the black, so you can try all 3 and decide what you like. But it's also going to have you, it's already pre-selected to what's going to save you the most money. So if you do it on monthly subscription, which can be canceled at any time, you're going to save the shipping, which for us in the US is about $10. Plus you save an additional $5 off. You can cancel it at any time. In the US, you're going to get this free Omega Life 3 Resolve when you order it on subscription for the first order. So if you have 2 people in your household who want the system, then what you need to do is order it, use your referral link, which will be emailed to you, and then when you use that referral link, they will get it on subscription without paying shipping, save the $5 and get the free omega-3 as well. So if you're going to order for more than one person in your family, make sure one person orders first and then start having the other people as use the referral link to put them under you so they can all get the free product. Okay. So how long do you have to be on this? That's a common question. I'm going to be using it for life because, again, it's putting back what's been stripped from our food. So until our food is back to what it's supposed to be, which is not likely going to be happen, then I need to replace what's been stripped out so my body doesn't go back to what it was. You guys, our cells are constantly regenerating and turning over. I think like every 9 weeks we have new cells in our body. So if we use this for 9 weeks and then we don't, what cells are not getting the nutrients they need? Also, you wouldn't eat for 30 days and then say, I'm done, I'm never eating again. That was good enough for me. And when you look at things like Ozempic and metformin and that for these purposes, most of those people are going to be on that for the rest of their life, but it's damaging them slowly. This is supporting your health and creating longevity because it's healthier. So yes, I'm going to be doing it every day for the rest of my life, understanding that I'm bridging that gap between what's happened with our food system and where I need it to be. So it's just like I wouldn't brush my teeth for 4 weeks and then say, yeah, I'm good. I brushed my teeth. I'm done. Your body is you're continually expending energy and needing more energy. And so this is what we're doing. So it's a system called the Feel Great System. It's a tea that I drink in the morning. I just went over that. I can go back over it in a second. And I'm just about to dive in to the other part. But this tea helps you with satiety, helps you burn fat for fuel. It does not break a fast. You can have it more than once a day because it's a real food product. I have it at least twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. I think I'd have a hard time drinking it 4 times a day just because that's a lot of liquid for me to drink. But tea in the morning sustains energy, helps you burn fat for fuel, shuts down hunger, gives you mental clarity, physical energy, helps with things so many people have reported, help with anxiety and depression and whatnot, so that you have the right state of mind to continue on. Then the balance is a pre-meal drink that you drink 10 minutes before you eat anything, and this helps slow down the delivery of carbs and fats into your system, thereby helping with insulin resistance, helping you reduce the load of insulin in your system. Now, what happens when you take this, and there's scientific studies for that, this reduces your blood glucose spike by 20% with 1 packet, by 28% with 2 packets. But the more amazing thing is, with 1 packet, it's reducing the blood insulin spike by 13%. But 2 packets, say I'm having a high carb meal, it will reduce the insulin spike by 27%. That's huge. And there's been new studies on this, that it's increased people's life satisfaction, happiness score by 75%. And I will find those studies and get them up. But there are actual studies on these. And yeah, the doctors and the people who are utilizing it will actually absolutely say that, it's done wonders for them. So let's look at the balance, and then I'll go over any questions you guys have. The balance really helps support in controlling those blood sugars. It helps curb appetite between meals because it's slowing down the delivery of that food into your system, so you're staying satiated longer. So both of them help with satiety, or just the fact that you're staying full longer. So balance has 4 different patented blends in it. The first one is this fiber, biosphere fiber, and that has a unique blend of 5 different sources of 9 fibers that are in there, and the 9 fibers are soluble and insoluble, but these 5 help support cholesterol levels, and they slow the conversion of high glycemic carbohydrates. Again, taking something that's a high glycemic food and in effect turning it into a medium glycemic food naturally, because it's putting back what's been stripped. So then the 7X technology is a specialized blend of plant-derived polysaccharides, also known as viscous fibers. Now those viscous fibers go in, and this is why we drink it 10 minutes before, right? Because it starts to thicken up. And especially when it hits your gut enzymes, it's going to thicken up more rapidly, and more fully. So now you have this substance in your gut that's helping thicken it up. For me, it helps coat my gut. So I have a very acidic gut. It helps with that. but now it's starting to help me feel satiated before I even start eating. It allows me to eat less. Most meals I eat about half of what I did before, and I feel fine, right? I feel just fine. In fact, if you eat the same amount as before, you might start to feel over full. So it helps you feel satiated before you even start to eat. Then when you start eating, those thick viscous fibers start to encapsulate the foods that you're eating, and it slows down the digestion of those as it is entering the digestive tract. So your gut is emptying slower. So it's taking that quick boost of glucose that you used to get into your system and slowing it down and helping your insulin levels stay normal, even eating the same foods that you were eating before. Now, do I recommend you go have cake, ice cream, burgers, and pizza every day, all day? No, obviously I wouldn't do that. Yes, you can purchase it in the UK. I answered that. So you use my same link. It's in the UK. You just go to my profile option here on TikTok, and it will show you that. I can show you the QR code here in a second if you guys want to capture that. But if you just go to my profile, tap on my profile option, it will take you to my link tree, and the ordering page is there. It works for anyone, anywhere in the world that we're available to. So it's driven by IP address. And somebody over on Facebook says they love the tea and the balance both. Easy peasy. And you guys, crazy, crazy thing. I'm going to finish up this balance, but I'm going to throw in here, we'll talk about that in a second. But the balance, they're testing out new flavors, 5 new flavors. I don't believe that all of the flavors are going to hit the market, right? Some of us get to test out those new flavors, and then we're going to have to do some responses, and then they'll choose from those what actually hits the market. But just know that the company listens, and so they're offering new flavors of the balance. I'll go over what those flavors look like as soon as I'm done with this about the balance. So we've gone over 2 things, right? The biosphere fiber and the 7X technology, but then Unicity has added the cardio matrix, which is phytosterols, including chrysanthemum. If you look up chrysanthemum, man, this is blurry today. If you look up chrysanthemum, it will tell you that it does all of this stuff. There have been a lot of studies on chrysanthemum that show that it helps slow the body's, or supports the body's cholesterol absorption process. So it makes it very heart healthy. But then, yeah, the balance tastes like a creamsicle right now. Wait till you taste some of the other flavors. But it also has the vitamin complex in it. Now, the vitamin complex has been added because it helps support metabolism and digestion. So it goes hand in hand with these fibers that we're doing. So no, it's not just a fiber supplement. They've taken a look at what we need to do to create most impact on your blood glucose and your fat, your triglycerides, and your cholesterol. And they've created a matrix that addresses all of those, that helps you be more metabolically flexible and get that insulin resistance down. So when insulin is coursing through your veins, you are not metabolically flexible. Metabolically flexible means you're switching between insulin and glucagon, the 2 hormones that that reign over your energy, right? So again, bleh. Insulin is anabolic. It wants things to grow. So it's taking the glucose, the food that you're eating, once it's turned into glucose, and it's delivering it to every tissue in your body so that that tissue can grow and do what it needs to do. Glucagon likes to eat things up. So think about when you're in a little bit of a fasted state, and I'm not talking crazy fasting, but just enough to let the insulin levels go to sleep, which is about 8 hours if you're eating healthy and using the fibers. But then glucagon can come out to play, and it starts to remove some of the things like fat and some of the other tissues that need to go away, or it has a big key in that happening. So that's metabolic flexibility, having both of those, glucagon and insulin, at play in your system. Most of us are running off of insulin, and that's why we're getting heavier and heavier and ending up with diabetes. Now, okay, so back to the balance, the flavors. Some of the flavors that we're testing out are things like apple, which apple is always my favorite flavor, no matter, I don't think I've ever tasted an apple flavored anything that people got horribly wrong that I would hate. So that's probably my favorite. Then we're testing out a mixed berry flavor, a lime flavor, pink lemonade, and an orange pineapple. So what I'm doing now, they didn't ask me to do that, but you guys, on those days when you're having something that's high in carbohydrates and you're just not feeling like you're getting enough protein in, you can add a scoop of protein to your balance to up that protein level before you eat. Since I started doing that recently, I knew about it, but I just hadn't been doing it. But since I started adding a scoop of protein to my balance, I realized that I feel satiated more often. I feel like things are a little better. Um, so I'm drinking the balance that they gave us, the 5 flavors, just plain. And then I'm also taking once a day and adding a vanilla protein to it to see what it tastes like. And I want to tell you, I hope they keep the lime. I know my daughter would differ on that, but I hope they keep the lime. When you mix the lime with the Vanilla Complete, which is a really great complete source of protein from our company as well, it tastes like key lime pie to me. So we have creamsicle on one hand, key lime pie on the other. The pink lemonade tastes great with the complete protein as well. The mixed berry I like alone, but not as much with the protein. The apple I love alone, but not as much with the protein. So you guys, I don't know what flavors they're going to come out with. If they're going to come out with all 5, if they're going to come out with a couple, but we have new flavors coming out, and I hope they come out soon because they're pretty amazing. I love all of them. Of course, I have my favorites and my least favorites, but yeah, just know that that's coming down the road for you guys too. And I'm really excited about what that's going to look like for the people who don't like the orange flavor. So, all right. So now you guys ask me any questions. I do want to talk about this thing because, I want you to understand how damaging fruit juices can be. I know we've all been told to drink fruit juices, but when I look at prediabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, especially in children, the reason is because we've started drinking. So there was this big fruit juice or juicing craze, right? And there's still some of that going on. But think about it. If what we're trying to do is put back what the food industry has stripped by utilizing this, and now you're taking the natural food and juicing it, removing this, now you're getting this sugar that delivers directly into your bloodstream, and in the form of fructose, it relies more heavily on the liver to be produced, and it stores more easily in the liver. So that's why we're getting this non-alcoholic fatty liver disease even in kids. So we went from we don't know what we don't know until we know what we don't know, right? So our family I tried to have fruit juice thinking it was more better than sodas and stuff. But Dr. Bickman, not that I think he's going to give his kids soda, but he says if he had to choose between soda and fruit juice, he would give his kids soda because it does less damage to the body than fruit juice. So, have they been able to bring the monthly price? When I think about what metformin costs, and some of these drugs, these are GLP-1 agonists, they're costing people anywhere from $500 to $1,500 a month. So, so there's that. Like if you're complaining about $154 a month and you want to go do medications that are damaging your system for 4, 5, 6 times as much, then that's your choice, honey. Do that. But if you think that doctors and pharmaceutical companies and whatnot are not making money off of sick people, you need to reassess your view on the world. Okay, and my time is valuable too. So is it okay for those who are on medications to be on the system? Yes. I was on 10 different medications when I started the system. I just realized at some point that I didn't want those medications in my system. Now, this is not what I would recommend anyone else do, but I chose to just throw all my medications away because I was sick enough that I was just like, I'm not going to continue to do this to my body. Now, other people have worked with their doctors and been able to lower their medications and get off many of their medications with the direction of their physician, and that's how I would say that you should do it. And Heather says she's saving $100 a week easily using the system and getting her health back. Same thing for me. So before I started, Heather, thank you. Heather has been doing amazing things. I don't even really recognize your face now from what it was before. How much weight have you lost, Heather? Would you mind telling people what you've overcome since you started the system? Just let them know and hear what's happening with you. And yeah, okay, so over on Facebook, somebody's saying orange pineapple. Unfortunately, I thought orange pineapple would be my favorite, but it has, to me, it has kind of a chemically taste to it, but that's my palate. The apple, amazing. Anytime you have anything that tastes like apple, again, I'm great. But the cost. So yeah, I'm that uh, neurodivergent person who puts everything in a spreadsheet, right? Um, and I realized I saved money every month when I started the system because I was super worried about the cost of it as well. But being able to throw away 10 medications, and even at $10 a pop for copay for those medications, that's $100 a month just that I'm not paying in medications, plus the medical visits, the time, the gas, the cost of the visits that I'm not going to. And I was going to the doctor at least twice a month, every month, to try and figure out what was going on with me, why my health and my body was failing so rapidly. I have not been to the doctor's office in a year and a half. I had to have my gallbladder removed a year and a half ago. And outside of a physical exam for insurance purposes that I did in January, I've not been to a regular doctor's office because I haven't needed it. So Heather says she's down 41 pounds in 4 months. And her total cholesterol dropped 31 points, and her triglycerides dropped 58 points in 2 months on the system. Just 2 months, and that's the change that it's made for her. So she has tons of energy, no cravings, hasn't had a migraine in 4 months, and no more snacking. You guys, migraines, and I haven't done a video because I can't do videos on everything, but if anybody's interested, I'm more than happy to do it because I was starting to go from headaches to having migraines all the time. And now when I hear somebody say, man, like I ran into a lady at one of the local stores and she was like, I just hope I make it through this shift because I have regular migraines and I can't work when I'm having the migraines. What if you added 2 real food products to your day, 3 points during the day, and you had a chance of not having those migraines as often or at all? Would you take that chance? Um, it has a 90-day money back guarantee, so why not give it a shot? Yes, kids can take this too. So we have an 18-month-old who's drinking both products. We have an 11-year-old, I'll show you his picture, who happens to be an 11-year-old who also has type 1 diabetic. I think he's 13 now. This picture was taken when he was like 11. But he's drinking it, and I was able to actually go visit with him and talk to him personally. And he said it was the easiest thing he's ever done. And he feels amazing. He's not using short acting insulin anymore. He's reduced the load of his long acting insulin, and he's a kid. It's food products, so it's safe as long as they can drink it. It's safe for them. I would never give an 18-month-old a full packet of Balance, right? That's too much for their tummy. I would slow that down. And the tea, yeah, I've had my 4-year-old granddaughter. I remember going to the park and I had one of these big bubble mugs and I was on live, so I wasn't paying attention to it. Got done with the live, super thirsty. Went to take a drink of my tea, and that little 4-year-old running around the playground had kept coming over, taking drinks of my tea unbeknownst to me, and drank the whole damn thing. Because it's healthy. The tea has components in it that are great for the brain. They're great for your digestion. They're great for your energy without making you have that energy high and low. And it's safe for even kids to drink. So yeah, they've switched over from her drinking fruit juice and stuff to she drinks this. Because actually, when you look at the cost of this, about $1.60 a packet, it's less than most high quality fruit juices anyway. So now she's getting nutrients and things to her brain and her little body that she needs, and it's healthy for her. So yes, so this is our type 1 diabetic who was 11. Thank you, Heather, for hopping in. So he's lost 35 pounds. Again, reduced the load of his long-acting insulin, is no longer having to use short-acting insulin. He has better moods. And all of that, and he's 11. And before just a couple of years ago, we had a 3-year-old who was using it. Now we have this 18-month-old doing it because it's a food product, you guys. It's not a medication. So, again, I would just take into consideration that they're little bodies. And so, don't let them drink a whole packet of this in one sitting. My little granddaughter drank that 30 ounces of water, because I usually put this in about 30 ounces of water, over a couple hours of play on the playground on a hot sunny day. I'm okay with that. Would I give this to her and have her drink it all at once? No. This, again, because of the fibers and the way that it expands in the tummy, I would give her less than a half a packet of this. But here's the thing, you have coaches that work with you. So if you have a child that you want to try it, you can do that. We've had teenagers who are doing this. Actually, teenagers, once they started seeing and this has happened in my own family, their mothers, fathers, whatever, starting to feel better, lose weight, whatever on the system, the teenagers start going in and sneaking packets, and the parents all of a sudden like, what's happening to my system? Because it's not time to reorder yet and I'm almost out. So yeah, kids can do it too. So the best way to check the price in the UK is, look, just go to the link that's here and it's going to show up. You don't have to sign up for anything until you select your product. So if you just are, wanting to know about the price, go to that link and see what the price is in the UK. Now there's a customer price and a member price. So once you sign up as a member, that price drops for you as a member and you get a better price and you get the lowest price guarantee as a member. And then you get access to me for questions and all of that. So it's hard for people in the US to know what the price is going to be in the UAE or Australia or the UK. And so you just go take a look. You're not going to be getting all kinds of spammy calls and stuff. So just go see. Okay, guys, does anybody have any other questions? I do want to go over a couple of things. I'm going to go back to the end here. So we have a number of people who are doing this, like Heather. By the way, go follow Heather on her page, who have gotten success with this, and they're now sharing it with other people too. So when you share with your family and friends, you'll get a $10 credit the next month on your system for every person who buys every month they buy. Okay, so that's not just a one-time credit. Every time they buy the system, it gives you a $10 credit on yours. And so when you purchase, you'll get an email that says, this is your referral link. Save that referral link to your phone, and then you can just give that to family and friends when they start to ask you what's happening. Now, if you're like me and you start noticing changes and you're like, dude, I need something better to do, something that has leverage, something that is going to really impact my life and not require me to work, twice as many hours to make twice as much money, and that I can actually help people, then you get a hold of me and I can show you how to do that same thing, and you make $25 a purchase instead of the $10 credit, and it's actually pretty easy. We have people making good amounts of money. I've 5x'd my income in the last year and a half, and I have time for my family, and I have my health back, and I get to hear stories every day of people who are impacting their own health by using 2 real food products. It's amazing, and it's important to get out there. You guys, there are billions of people in the world, and if we think about that, 93% of them are having some metabolic disorder, and we can give them the chance to get better with 2 real food products, why wouldn't you share it, especially if it's working well for you? So, and it's super easy. If you choose to do either way, I can help you understand how to do that. I'm trying to get back to that slide. Oh, just remember, you have that 90-day money-back guarantee. So, here's my thing. For me, I don't want people who are just going to do this for 30 days. Because if you're just going to try something for 30 days and not be like, I'm not going to do this for another 60 days because I didn't lose 100 pounds in a month, this isn't the system for you. I want to be really upfront with you. If you're somebody who's like, I'm sick, and for me, I've been sick for 40 years, and I just want to feel better, and I'm willing to take the time to see what can happen. Now, every month that I've been on the system, other things have gotten better, that's the kind of people that should be trying out the system. If you don't have patience, if you can't commit to doing a tea in the morning and a packet of a matrix before you eat anything, this is probably not the thing for you. Okay, so don't. But if it is, you have a 90-day money back guarantee. Give it the 90 days, and it's going to guaranteed make you feel great in 90 days. Yeah. So J. Pat says the system's amazing. Lost 25 pounds over 4 months of time. That's amazing. You guys, yeah, it's crazy, crazy good. And we do have doctors who are recommending it more and more. By the way, one thing I didn't go over in this little live is that it's available to be reviewed in the PDR, or the Prescriber's Digital Reference. That's a US site that has most all of the medications that your doctor can prescribe. It's what the doctors and the pharmacists use to see what are the contraindications, what are the adverse reactions, what medications should not be taken with it. PDR.net, yes. And you can find both the products, Unimate and Balance, on the PDR.net and see that it doesn't have all of these major health implications that the other products have. It's safe, and doctors can look it up. I took it to my hospital room when I had surgeries, when I knew I had to go in and have my gallbladder out, or even when I was really sick and thought I didn't know what was wrong. I was septic. They said I was about 2 hours from death. I still had the presence of mind to throw these in my purse because I knew that it wasn't going to be an in and out visit. And as soon as I was told I could eat again, I told them I wanted my purse, and I mixed up this and I started using it. And when they questioned, they were just like, what is that? You can't be having medications. And I'm like, it's not medication, it's food. Go look it up on the PDR. They did. They were like, oh, okay, yeah, you can absolutely have that. So, yes, just slow and steady without changing your diet, just fasting and taking the products. Now, I'm going to say I didn't change my diet drastically. Like, I didn't go from having hamburgers, and I'm not a big pizza eater. I have it for my grandson because that's one of the things he loves. But I didn't drastically change what I eat, right? I eat the way I normally eat. I'm more carnivorous than vegetarian, but if you're more vegetarian than carnivorous, that's great too. Uh, the cool thing with the system is you get to eat the way you eat. There's some recommendations that we go over, and that's, start with fiber, get that fiber packet in first, prioritize your protein. Now, my son was like, Mom, that's not true for everybody. Not everybody needs to prioritize protein. And I'm like, yeah, they do, because most people that I know are only getting in about 20 grams of protein in a day. And on the bottom, maybe 60 grams. I usually say about 80 grams to 120 grams for an active or semi-active person. So when you're only getting 20, prioritizing your protein to make sure you're getting protein in is key. And then you want to fill up with fats. And those fats are things like butter, ghee, avocado oil, coconut oil, and extra virgin olive oil. Not canola oil, grapeseed oil, any of those oils. They're drenched in hexane. They're chemically, it's just a whole different thing. That causes some of the inflammation. So stick with the healthier oils. And no, saturated fats are not bad for you. It's the trans fats that are bad. So animal fats, butter, ghee, avocado, coconut, and extra virgin olive oil. By the way, I'm going to have a PDF, downloadable PDF, that I will be getting in my link tree this week, that you guys can download that and see what all that is and have it in a form that you're not searching through my videos for. But then, so prioritize protein, fill up with fats, limit your carbs. And so especially those high glycemic carbs like uh, cakes and pastas and breads, limit those. Aim for those vegetables and stuff. Yes, they're a carb. Yes, they're also a fiber, but aim for those, and then do some time-based eating and move your body. Even if it's going for a walk once or twice a day for 5 or 10 minutes, just move your body. Whatever stage you're at, move your body. That's it. Okay, that's all you really got to do. And there's no calorie counting, no diets, no meal plans, no any of that. Because look, we have Indian people doing it. We have Hispanic people doing it. We have people who love Italian food. We have, Native Americans who are eating a very different diet. You guys, whatever your diet is, you just follow those principles and eat the foods you love in, especially with the carbs, in moderation, right? And stop eating everything drenched in those seed oils. And that's it. You still get to eat the foods you love and be here. But no, you're not going to eat pizza every day and cake and ice cream every day and be healthy. Let's be real. Okay. Guys, love you all. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's been amazing this morning. I appreciate all of you. I will be back live multi-platform again on Wednesday and on Friday at 11 a.m. And then here on TikTok, I'll be live again sometime on Tuesday and Thursday. I aim for 11, but my life is nuts, and I like it that way. Bye, everybody. We'll see you later.